Daniel Ricciardo, we all apologise. We all said that you were rubbish and done and we should write you off for the year, and then you go and show us up for the fools that we are by winning the Italian Grand Prix. So, on behalf of all of us, I'm so sorry. I don't know if we can blame Tom for that because he wasn't there last episode. But definitely me and you, Nick.
It is definitely my fault.
Yeah, we probably can.
Yeah. Definitely Tom's fault.
Yeah.
So, apologies
I've
to Daniel.
I've also said that it's not going very well for Daniel this season anyway, so I'm fully on board with that mistake. I also sincerely apologise.
We'll get the apology out there right away.
Yeah.
So on this week's show, you just heard Tom is back, so we're going to talk about the Italian Grand Prix, but first we're going to cover the British touring cars from Croft this past weekend, which was
lovely,
fun. I actually quite enjoyed it. Croft's always a fun track.
Yeah,
one of my faves.
There was no big flips through the potato fields this year though, like last year.
I didn't even know if they've reprofiled the potato field or not.
The bingo sheet was quite empty for the normal Croft stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, not many people visited any crops.
No.
Plato nearly did at one point, I thought.
There wasn't that much mention about how rear-wheel drive always dominates.
Well, that's true because it didn't.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it kind of did if you look at the results, but it didn't really. So enjoyable weekend of racing, I thought.
It was indeed.
Tom, you want to do the news quickly? The British touring
news roundup. Breaking news. BTCC is has a new fuel supply for the next 5 years. I'm all sure we're riveted for that news. It's going to use that E10 stuff, which has become the norm on UK forecourts, so hardly a big thing. They're saying it's more sustainable, but what even is sustainable? But that's a topic for another time. In other news, obviously we know that next race weekend is at Silverstone, and the hybrid test vehicle is going to be driven by Andrew Jordan. To back that up, there's been a press release talking about how fans are excited. So did you know that 57% of drivers believe using hybrid or electric power in motor racing will help convince those who remain sceptical that these cars are credible alternatives to traditionally fueled vehicles? Did you know that, Colin?
I did not. That's amazing that 54% people believe that, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
57.
57. Oh, sorry.
I've just heard you say it, and I'm still not sure that I know about it. It's just not going in.
Yeah, so more than half of drivers believe that using hybrid or electric power in motor racing will help convince them that they're credible alternatives to traditionally fueled vehicles. So this is of those that remain sceptical, 57% say that it might change them. But how many interviewees that were sceptical they asked? Nobody knows. So what I'm saying is take it with a pinch of salt. And it also says that 18% of drivers say a specific manufacturer's performance in motor racing influences their view on their brand, which is very low. I would have not included that stat.
No.
That was
how influential is the British Touring Car Championship on my dad's car choices?
Well, we'll have to ask your dad.
He just bought a Toyota Yaris hybrid, so probably not.
Well, maybe next year if there's a Works Toyota hybrid team,
it could have. Yeah,
it could at least feel loyal.
Very true.
The other thing is there's a second hybrid prototype now. I don't know if you've seen this. It's a BMW 1 Series that was...
I did, yeah. I assume that's not racing.
It's not racing. It's just testing. So they can get rear-wheel drive mileage going.
Yeah.
It's the ex-Carl Bodley car, which is owned by Sicily Motorsport at the minute, I believe. And I don't know who's driving it. I think it was said somewhere, but I've forgotten. Apologies.
Do you think Team BMW is crapping themselves about Andy Jordan suddenly driving around the track in a very fast car?
It's possible.
Colin Turner
well, we shared amongst
on
each
his
other.
roof pretty soon.
Yeah, a little clip, didn't we? Of 2019 of Turkington and Jordan biffing into each other at Silverstone.
Yeah.
Maybe we see a repeat of that.
Yeah, it won't be also accidental this time though.
Yeah. I suppose we'll talk about a hybrid later or stuff after next week, but we've said it before, it's a bit weird that it's there, but hey, let's see how it gets going. And the final the two final things of news are minis will be a support category for another 5 years. Job done. And
good.
The qualifying top 10 showdown will be at Silverstone and Donington. Just a reminder there.
Yeah. And the reverse garages as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They're open to the crowds rather than the pit lane.
Right. I mean, that's really good.
Which is quite a nice thing for supporters.
It is. It is. But I think the qualifying format will be the bigger thing that we'll talk about.
Yeah, I just realised I meant spectators rather than supporters. That was kind of more football.
Well, it worked. I didn't. No one realised it. We could have carried on without it.
Yeah, I know.
Does that mean you can't actually walk through the pit lane at Silverstone, not the pit lane, the paddock?
No, I think you can, but the cars are facing the paddock.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, the garage doors are open at the back of the garage rather than the front.
Okay.
Yeah, so the cars aren't facing the pit
You
lane.
can see it when you're walking past.
Yeah. And the showdown is like top 10 do an extra session, which my preference would be they each have one hot lap.
Yeah.
But it's just like another extra so many minutes, isn't it? And they just go round and round again.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, fine.
Normal qualifying this week, though.
Yes, for Croft. Yeah. Nice segue that I failed to pick up on there, Colin.
Yeah.
Ruined it.
Smooth as always.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Quantity, not quality, as we always say.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
But there was a quality lap from Aidan Moffat. Like that.
Oh, that's a good segue.
That's
as
That's
well.
a bit better, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm coming for David Croft's job now. with clips like that. Yep, Aidan Moffat, pole position. Nicked it from Jake Hill at 0.04 a second. I thought it was great for Aidan. He needed a good weekend.
That's brilliant.
He's been quiet the last few. That was a great start.
But we've said previously that he's had a much better year, and then the last 2 rounds he's been absent.
Yeah.
So this is bouncing back. It helps that, he was lower down the championship order without weight on, but then there were also half the grid in the similar position, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, superb effort.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. Also from Hill and Turkington, who did have weight on. They both did.
These two again, popping up at the top in qualifying with that award that they're leading.
The
Yeah.
Wingfoot?
Wingfoot, there we go.
That's
I
the
always
one.
keep wanting to call it Flightfoot, which doesn't make any sense.
The only thing I want to point out for qualifying is Sheridan had another nightmare. 17th.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So,
bad.
as did Ingram.
Yeah. Is it
Yeah.
21st?
Ingram was heavy, but you still don't expect it that far down.
No.
Butcher was last, wasn't he? But that was mechanical or something?
Yeah,
wasn't it?
so what happened there was Butcher broke down
Oh, that's
near the start of the session, which is a disaster. He was quickest in free practice 1, for what that's worth. It caused a red flag. There was some fluid that came out of his car, and Dan Lloyd went off on it, but didn't hit a barrier or anything and carried on. But a disastrous weekend for Rory Butcher, as we'll cover, I think, as a whole. And it started really with, not setting a flying lap at all.
Yeah.
Nick Hamilton had a crash. He went off out of the back of the circuit. Barcroft, no big damage, but just unfortunate. Ollie Jackson was sort of towing around Sam Osborne. He went wide at turn 1. Osborne tried to follow him, kind of followed the speed, went too quick and span. He span at turn 1. At this point, by the way, Sam Smeltwatch he was in P7 for most of the session.
Yeah.
And the final thing I would say about qualifying from my side is that the team dynamics has this really weird strategy at the minute. No one seems to know what's going on. Where they go out for a lap and the car's smoking, and then they come in for a lap. They fix some things and it goes out again. So Rowbottom was in and out of the pits for ages, multiple times. Every time he went out on the track, there was smoke coming from the car. He would only do one flying lap and then he would pit. Now, at the very, very, very end, he got in his P9 lap. But a lot of pressure to put on the driver there.
Yeah.
Because the other flying laps, he got the red flags came out when he was on them. I don't know if it was a technical issue. In the post-qualifying interview, he mentioned nothing about that at all. Makes me wonder there's some weird strategy there where they're like doing something funny with the brake pads or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
We've seen it before.
They've always run hot, haven't they?
Yeah.
When they're overheating the brakes.
So I'm definitely going to be watching Silverstone qualifying with eyes peeled on the Team Dynamics cars. I'm wondering if something's happening with Shedden because the amount of smoke that was coming off the car, and it wasn't coming out of like the tailpipe. it seemed to be emanating from, I don't know, maybe the braking system. So that was qualifying. Plato up into P10, not bad.
Oh yes, and Sam Smelt ended up 18th,
Which is good for him.
Yeah, apparently he was disappointed with that, wasn't he?
Ah, right, okay.
Apparently he thought he showed much better pace through practice for the first time this year.
Certainly the first half of qualifying was good, but again, it doesn't really count for much, unfortunately.
Oh well.
Yep. I'm actually rooting for him now.
Yeah, same.
We've adopted him as like a mascot.
Yeah.
He actually had a camera on board as well, which was useful later on.
Yeah.
Right.
Hashtag Sam Smelt Cam.
Yeah.
Well, you've always said Sam Smelt watch, or both of you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we were that was a literal interpretation of that.
Exactly. Someone is listening
It's funky.
to this.
Yeah, it's
That's
weird.
in charge of TV direction for the British Touring Cars.
I can only
Which is
apologise
very
to them.
dangerous.
Yeah, sorry.
Race 1 then. Moffat on pole.
Yeah.
And he had a great start. Turkington got a real good start, got alongside Hill. But then Hill cut the chicane, which made Turkington check up and Lord Proctor through into third. I was a bit surprised Hill got to keep that position, but I think he said he thought it was forced off. So
They've always kind of let those ones go, especially on the first lap at Croft, because you cannot really get two cars side by side through there.
no.
But yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of who was ahead and who.
Turkington was ahead. Turkington was ahead.
Yeah, so then he should have been.
Yeah,
should have given
simple
the
as
place
that.
back.
They are side by side, but Turkington is just ahead. You could see it from an onboard replay from one of the cars following. Might have been Josh Cook's camera angle.
But yeah,
And I appreciate that Hill can't turn in, right? So straight like chicane, as you say, they're lenient on that, fine. But he gained like 2-3 seconds and kept the position.
yeah,
So that one frustrated me a bit. I know it's very hard to change that after the race and also change that position during the race. It's not like in Formula 1 necessarily where they do like Perez got a penalty in Monza, right?
yeah.
For cutting the chicane. But this one wound me up a little bit. There's a clear advantage there from Hill. Apologies to any Jake Hill fans.
And it cost Turkington third because he had to lift off and that allowed Proctor to attack him.
And I suppose with Proctor in there, again, you can't reverse the position. So it's a tricky scenario, but I would have liked to have seen something like a 5-second thing, or I don't know, something on there.
Maybe they need to do something like what Formula 1 does with having some kind of, you have to go around this bollard to rejoin, that costs them not necessarily seconds, but like a little bit of time. So is it slower to go that way?
And the two places that I needed are last chicane at Thruxton and this chicane at Croft.
Yeah. But then
everywhere else,
track limits at Croft are not great, as evidenced by the first corner. It bugs the hell out of me. The exit of the first corner.
Oh, yeah.
With the
Well, they've tried putting a bollard
the
there
flappy
before, but
bollard.
it just disappears.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why'd you put it there? It gets destroyed in the first lap every race. And nobody actually follows that corner at all. They all just drive over the curb.
No. At this point, just slightly redesign the corner and, acknowledge it.
Yeah, I know. It really annoys me, that does.
Cutting the first chicane's kind of a theme every race, because I think race 2, Turkington even cuts it, and then race 3,
But he didn't
cuts
get in a
it.
position from it. That's my beef. I
No,
don't mind the cut.
He kept the position that one when he was slightly ahead, so it's slightly different, but this one, it was a bit dodgy.
Yep.
Then Cook and Oliphant come together for the left-hander. Cook gets a slide out of the back of the circuit.
Yep.
Bumps Oliphant, gets past, but then runs off track because they've got a runoff area there where everyone just uses and keeps the position. Sutton then gets past Oliphant, but then he ends up spinning Oliphant. But I didn't see why. Did he touch? Or did he just
he had
go himself?
broken suspension, didn't he? Was that race, or was that another one?
That's the next
Is
race.
that the next one?
Yeah, you're right. It's not seen.
Because Sutton
There's a
gets
moment.
past him, and then you just see him facing the wrong way. But it didn't look like there was contact at that point.
No, so we don't know.
Ah, that's why then.
Yeah. I feel like, well, I could be wrong here, but the big Oliphant off is the next race.
Yeah, no, you're right. I've just checked.
We didn't see any replay or anything, and so it's unfair to speculate. But could have been a tap from someone. Not really sure.
Also, going back ever so slightly, Josh Cook with the epic outbraking around the outside of the tower.
Wasn't that amazing?
Yeah, just like, well, there's 3 cars in front of me. I might just go around all of them. I know he didn't get round all of them, but
He got at least 2 of them, was it?
Well, he got Sutton and got straight alongside Oliphant.
Yeah, and then got past him later on.
And then with that tap, it was the same thing.
Yeah, that was superb. Great awareness on that one.
Hill then keeps trying to challenge Moffat into the last chicane, or not last chicane, the hairpin.
Yeah.
It keeps trying to get the cut back and just can't get it. Moffat's always got better drive than him out the corner.
As the race progresses, in theory, Moffat's car looks after its tyres a bit better.
Yeah.
So if Jake didn't get it in the first 5 laps, then it was always going to be a bit of an uphill struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Moffat seemed to be slow, like the second half of the lap.
Yeah, sunny in and stuff.
Yeah, but the first half, Jake couldn't get anywhere near him.
I liked watching that though, even though like there's not like a million overtakes happen. It was really fun watching a race where drivers are in cars with strengths at different parts of the track, which is why we should have, in the past people have perhaps petitioned to throttle back the real drive advantage, quote unquote, or remove them from the series entirely. But you get different dynamics because of that.
No, exactly. I agree with that. It's always good to see the sort of the attack and the defence.
Yep, it's what makes the British Touring Car Championship.
Josh Cook then made a really good move on Alan Morgan through Sunny. Going quite a long way back.
Yeah.
I feel like we only saw it from on board, and I feel like there was a bit of contact.
Oh, there definitely was. But I think he was far enough alongside and wasn't running that wide. It's just...
But there was a puff, a rub there.
Yeah.
Sutton followed him through then as well, because that's what Ash Sutton does now. He waits for someone in front of him to do something daft, and he just follows on. Which is...
Did you think all weekend he was driving for the championship?
Yeah, yes, definitely.
There was times he was letting people by. He was being hesitant, or not hesitant, just careful. There was times where I thought, he can punt them wide if he wanted, and he didn't. Or if someone was coming, he would at the last corner, he would sort of move out of the way a little bit. Well, very clever.
This is the track last year where he messed up slightly in that regard, wasn't it? So maybe it was more conscious from him.
Yes. I'd agree with that. I mean, he started the weekend with a 30-point lead and he left with 29 points, so job done.
Yeah. Then gets a wee bit messy at the hairpin. It's Chris Smiley tries to go up the inside to Rowbottom.
Yeah.
But 2 cars at once.
Yeah, Rowbottom's got Ollie Jackson on the outside. I feel so sorry for Ollie Jackson.
Yeah,
it's never his fault.
No.
So Smiley hits Rowbottom, who then hits Jackson, and Jackson spins, and I think it breaks his suspension.
Yeah.
And has to retire. Rowbottom goes off the track, and he's, I think, 15th at that point. But yeah, I feel so sorry for Ollie Jackson. He's always in the wars. It's very rarely his fault.
Yeah.
Smiley got an official reprimand for that move.
Yes, he did.
And 2 penalty points. I feel at one point, it's hard to tell from the angle, but he's kind of 4 wheels off the track on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which used to be an old school move in the early noughties around here in BTCC. I remember Paul O'Neill using it, 4 wheels off.
I think he could have said, well, Rowbottom didn't leave me room, but he didn't leave room because there was someone else there as well.
Exactly.
So
it was just a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, it wasn't on, that move. Then Rowbottom gets punted off by Aaron Taylor-Smith.
Yeah, that looked ridiculous, that one.
I don't know if he got a penalty. I couldn't find it, but he definitely deserved one.
Yeah.
He got a verbal warning.
Yeah, which isn't really anything, is it?
Nope.
You've been naughty.
He was nowhere near Rowbottom, and then just breaks it so late, and then knocks poor Dan off. So that's been in 2 instances in about 2 minutes that weren't his fault. And it's completely ruined his weekend.
And he ends up in the barrier there, doesn't he, and out on the race, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then that leads to the safety car.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good restart from Moffat, who went quite early and held on to first. And then Plato's drops down order because he's got some steering damage. They announced over commentary, but I didn't see. Did you see who he hit?
No idea. But I noticed Butcher was also dropping down, but I don't think they were actually near each other. I think that was coincidental.
I've got a theory.
Oh.
You can't see it, but at the start of the race, Plato is ahead of Lloyd, his teammate. Lloyd is very, very close. Then the next lap, on the position chart table on the screen, they've switched positions. And for me, from this point on, is when Plato's struggling the whole race.
Oh, right, yeah.
in the back of shots, you can see him dropping back from Lloyd. He's trying to defend against someone, they get past him, and then he just falls down for the rest of the race. So I think it's early on in the race, and I think it was his teammate. How about that?
It could well be. And it could have just got worse throughout the race as well with the steering issue.
Yeah. But I couldn't tell you what corner. It was after... the last shot you saw together was Tower Bend, so it could have been through Jim Clark's Barcroft Sunny, and I think it was that sort of area if I was to guess. Pure speculation, but that's, for me, when he started dropping back.
It would be good if they caught up with all these replays after the race, but...
Yeah, they used to, but I think the support series, there's so little time between all the races that they have to show everything. They don't get the time.
That's very true.
Yeah, but last few years, the Dunlop YouTube channel has put together like some of the onboard action and best bits and overtaking that were not on TV.
Right.
And it hasn't been like on the day, it's been like a week later or something. And the footage is there. It's not of the highest quality. It's the judicial cameras, right?
Yeah.
But I would still love for the British Touring Car Series to release that each week.
Yeah.
It doesn't prevent me from watching it live or buying a ticket. If anything, it causes a debate which might get people more talking about British Touring Cars. So.
Yeah. They need a social media manager there, don't they?
Yeah, I think they have an agency that works for them, and they do a very good job within the budget and resource they've got, clearly. But I don't know what the hold-up is in terms of, they say additional footage and videos that would really bring the series to life, I think, and keep people talking in between rounds.
Yeah.
Or over the winter break, or stuff like this. It's all a question of resource in it, so we don't know the full context. But that's definitely my main beef with the series, and it comes from a place of, appreciation.
Smiley and Morgan then had a good fight, and Smiley kept on to 7th. Oliphant then overtakes Jay Edwards, and Edwards goes flying off. It turns out she's got a right rear puncture at that point. I was like,
wonder if that was some contact.
Yeah, it looked like
so.
when they went in, it was just she ran wide, but then they went to another camera angle, and the tyre's definitely gone.
Yeah, completely.
Before that. And that pretty much rounds up race 1 for everything I've got.
Moffat wins in the same car as Sutton.
Yep.
When was the last time that happened?
He's not won in 3 years.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Just anyone in the same car as Sutton.
Yeah. Josh Cook won an MG, I think. Did he win a race that year?
I think so. And I actually think Plato won in the Subaru in the first year they were together. But he won one compared to Ash's 20,000.
Yeah. So I think that was probably the last time a teammate of Sutton's won a race in the same car, which would have been 2 or 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying there is kudos, Aidan Moffat.
Yeah, did very well.
Yep. Headed from start to finish. Didn't drive round inside every corner like he had to in the season.
He defended well as opposed to just doing the wrong one.
In the places where he was weak. But in the places where his car had a different style and was quicker than Jake's Hill, he didn't defend through those parts, if that makes sense.
Yeah. He was parking it on the apex when he needed to, but it wasn't just, like you say, driving around the inside of the track.
Yeah.
I thought Turkington was too cautious, though, just in general. Because he never tried, really, to get back at Proctor. He was always there, but he never really went for it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he should just dive down the inside, but...
At that point in the race, he's ahead of Sutton, I suppose. Maybe he's thinking that, all right, it's a couple more points. But he needs to have bigger swings at this point. I'd agree with that.
Although we'll come to that in a second as well.
Yep.
Sam Smith, unfortunately, 21st.
I forgot again. Yeah.
Josh Cook, fastest lap.
Yeah.
It's
a habit now, isn't it?
We should. What was he christened? Like the King of Thruxton?
Yeah.
Or something. It should be the fastest lap maestro or something. Something better than that.
That rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you started talking. I've not actually thought of the punchline.
You used to work in marketing, didn't you, Tom?
Can you tell?
Used to being the word.
Yes.
Rory Butcher recovered to 9, Sheridan recovered to 10, Ingram 12, and last point was Cardboardly.
Butcher in 9th is amazing.
Yeah.
We'll come to it in race 3 where everyone was going crazy about his drive then, but it was all equally good in race 1.
Yeah. Anthony back this weekend, 24.
Oh, yes.
And Nick Halstead was stepping in for Rick Parfitt Jr., and he was 26.
Forgot those in the news roundup.
Yeah. Oh, sacked. Channel 4 News is going to sack you for that. So, he was pretty much last of the runners, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Because Jade had retired at that point. So it's going to be hard to jump into a new car that you've never driven before.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the car didn't really change position to a normal weekend. Ouch, that's harsh.
It's true there.
I think it was race 3 where he was following the leaders after being lapped and also tried to do what they were doing and just went flying off the road.
Yeah.
So, fair play.
Didn't hit anything though.
No, it wasn't quite like Rick Parfitt, but he's out with a back injury, isn't he?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully return soon.
Is he back this weekend or?
It's supposed
No
to
idea.
be, yeah. He was supposed to just take a weekend off to give his back time to recover, apparently. But we'll see what happens with that.
Cool.
Race 2.
Mm-hmm.
Really tight start from everyone. Everyone bunches up top 6. Moffat keeps the lead, but he locks up through turn 1. Both Tuckington and Morgan cut the chicane and keep the positions. And then Hill tries to go around outside of Moffat, but has to back out at that point. Tuckington and Cook go side by side, and there's a lot of contact.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about
Pretty naughty.
the aggression comes out, because it looked like both of them were just taking it too far.
Yeah, Cook keeps turning into him on the straight.
He does.
He's almost spinning him a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was out of order.
Then they go side by side for the left-hander, and Cook gets another slide. He always gets a slide for that corner when someone's near him.
Yeah.
Did he actually get a slide, or was just the commentary saying he had a slide?
He did have a slide,
Okay.
and he smashes Tuckington's side and then takes the position. But it was definitely a bit over the top going on that straight. That could have been a spectacular crash.
Because Turkington pushed him wide first, I thought.
Exactly.
Initiated
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
But Cook pushed back, which in a way is fair enough.
On
but
a straight
he pushed
line.
back more,
Yeah.
if you see what I mean.
It was like, we're not even, and give it back twice as hard.
Yes.
And on a straight line, it's a bit out of order, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And yeah, Turkington's got opposite lock on at one point on a straight line.
Yeah. I'll get a wee bit
Lucky not
messy.
to get punches, you know.
True.
Started feeling a bit sorry for Tuckington this race. That was just the start of it for him.
Yeah.
Hill then gets the lead from Moffat. He's fighting through the second half of the lap.
Yeah, lovely side-by-side action.
Yeah, that was good. Good from both of them as well.
Yeah.
Very fair. And he completes it, the overtake basically just before the hairpin, but it's about half a lap of trying, and thought it was a good move.
Enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's catching him after that.
Yeah, he just vanished, didn't he?
Which I thought was a great drive.
Yeah, was it the biggest winning margin of the year?
I think it was over 10 seconds.
Probably.
I think it was 5.5 seconds.
No, yeah, right, 5.5. Yeah.
But I do believe it might be the...
It was, they were talking like it was going to be the biggest, so I was assuming it was.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a hell of a drive from Jake. Was he
on it?
What, his second win?
Yeah.
Second ever win, yeah.
And was it second maximum ballast as well?
That was the really good part. Apparently, well, according to the commentary again, the team did test with ballast at Croft. So
They did, but they tested with the ballast that he had in race 1, which was 40 something. I thought 46 was it? But that's what they were tested with, which is like the medium ballast.
So top job from them. And apparently Mark Blundell owes him a barbecue.
Yeah.
There's then chaos in the midfield.
Oh, yeah, what's going on there? Hard to tell what happened.
It was like Cal Bordley causes it all, basically.
Oh, right.
So it looks like there's a free wide going through a bit of corner. There's a team hard car, there's Bordley, and then there's Butcher who's on the inside for the first part, but it's going to be the outside for the second part. It looks like he knocks the team hard car into Butcher, which spins him off. But then Bordley hits the back of Chilton, which spins him round. So there ends up 2 cars in the grass there. But I think Chilton can keep going, but it all seems to stem from Bordley hitting people. So I don't know. The camera shot didn't show if he got a nudge on the grass or what, but there's definitely cars side by side, and it seems to be him that initiates it all.
Because I think Aaron Taylor-Smith was in the middle of it.
He usually is.
It was a bit calamitous, wasn't it?
There was a team hard, so it probably was him.
Yeah, I felt bad for Butcher out again. If he just looked to be on the outside and everybody sort of moved a bit left and he sort of tripped over the back. I think he went up in the air.
Yeah.
Broken suspension off there. Right schmozzle.
Yeah, it was. I felt a wee bit sorry for Charlton as well because this was an okay weekend for him.
He seems to keep having okay weekends and then there's something like this.
Yeah.
And I just hope he doesn't, quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wish we had a better camera there, but it just I don't know because I don't know if Bordeaux was knocked, and that's why he couldn't stop. But
well, if we had onboard camera videos a few days later,
yeah. I'm not going to complain more about the BTC production, but yeah.
No. We're not like what.
We just want more.
We just want more. Exactly. The live coverage is amazing and superb and really well done. Don't want to take anything away from that.
No, and then after this, Elephant has damage to his right rear suspension and goes flying off the road at the first chicane, but we don't know what happened there, if he was caught up in that incident or if it was another incident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No idea.
Not sure, but this is two incidents we weren't sure with Elephant, but his right rear suspension's very, very broken. It's not like a puncher. Then it looked like, to me, he was having an argument with a spectator.
Yeah, he was talking to them for a while, but it looked a bit aggressive.
It didn't look like, these idiots. It looked like the guy was like, hey, what's your bad driving all about, mate?
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Because he walked away for a bit, and then he came back to him, and I was like, hang on a minute,
I don't know. Somebody's obviously mouthed off to him, and he didn't like it. Poor Tom. That's a terrible weekend for him.
Yeah, bad one.
Jack Patel, bonnet then flips up as they're behind the safety car, I think, at that point.
It looks like he hit someone, and because he checks up, Hamilton just drives straight into the back of him.
Yeah.
And they're both out, aren't they, I think?
I think so, anyway, yeah.
Nick Hamilton. Yeah, you're right. DNF.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy damage to the front of the car.
Yeah. Patel, I think he went back out after he pitted.
Right.
I think so, yeah.
Taped down the bonnet.
Yeah, I might manage to get it down and send them off again. Sutton tries to get around outside Tuckerton, but can't do it. Cook then takes third from Proctor, which holds Colin up and bunches up the fight for fifth. And then Josh Cook attacks Moffat for second. Can't get the move done, and then suddenly drops about 2 seconds behind Moffat at one point. So
yeah,
I don't know if he made a mistake or was pushed wide, but
not sure.
He ended up fighting Tuckington again.
Yeah, or maybe if he damaged his tyres in the move or something, I don't know.
Shedden then pushes Sutton onto the grass, but allows Ingram and him to go through. Proctor ends up pushed offline, he drops away down to 8th.
Yeah, Turkington had already got past Proctor at that point, but we never saw it on camera.
Right. There was all sorts kicking off.
Then it all
Shedden was
off.
very aggressive, I felt.
Yeah, so Tuckington tries to take Courand outside of turn 1, but Shedden dives up the inside of him, pushes him into the gravel, and he drops away down to 9th at that point. But Sutton manages to get past both Shedden and Ingram through all that.
Oh, man. I bet it was just laughing.
Yeah.
Look at these idiots driving like the championships on the line.
Well,
this race.
Shedden, I'm going to say, is an idiot. Because at this point, he's not fighting for anything. And that's just, I think that's far too aggressive for a move on someone who's fighting for the title.
For me, if he didn't have to push Shedden, Shedden didn't have to push Turkington wide there.
No.
Because for the next corner, there's a right-hander.
Yeah.
So just stay there. But there's a bit of contact, which slows him up. Which means Ingram gets past, but then Ingram overcooks it a little bit. Or does Shedden turn in a bit? I don't know. So then they both go wide. And Sutton's just like, happy days, lads. Cheers.
There's been a few instances in this year with Shedden where it's just like, why are you doing that?
Just calm down a bit. It's just desperate.
That is exactly what it is. It's desperation to get points. But you're out the championship fight. Just calm it down.
It all started, though, with a poor qualifying.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think both me and Nick predicted them for the title, and it's just been a disaster.
Yes, we did.
Woohoo.
I have those written down now, by the way. I wrote down our predictions.
Ooh, let's cover them after the end of race 3.
Yeah. At least one of my F1 predictions came true. Nothing else will.
This is true.
But at least one has. At this point, I noticed that Tom Ingram's got a flappy bonnet as well.
Yes, he often does.
Ooh.
The bonnet seems really flimsy on that car. I
Mm.
saw it when they lifted it up before the race. It just looked like a bit of cardboard.
I'll have you know that Hyundai build quality is imperious.
This is true.
You're still trying to sell that, aren't you?
Oh, I might have just sold it today, this second. If we finish this podcast early, I need to fill the paperwork in.
Lovely. Then midfield starts getting messy, and Dan Lloyd ends up getting pushed out wide on the grass, and he loses 6 places, I think. Ingram's got front left damage because he hit one of the tyre stacks,
Which he had in qualifying.
Yeah. Which
Interestingly.
caused a big rant from Paul O'Neill later on.
Oh, yeah, and Tim Harvey on Twitter just yesterday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, was it Tim Harvey that posted a video of like a bit of drain pipe going through someone's windshield?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I haven't seen, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, it was something about corner posts. I'll bring up the tweet now. You just continue, because it was something about something like the Croft circuit did.
Oh, right, well, the race is happening, and cars are overtaking. It's touring cars.
Well, Tom Ingram managed to get Sutton at the hairpin.
That's
the thing
David
I
Allison
liked.
probably says something about stabbed rats.
I did see Sam Smelt as well, just to bring it back to Sam for a while. He tried a nice manoeuvre at the hairpin where he tried to go deep in the hairpin, get a good exit. I can't remember who was fighting. And as he was trying that, Chilton just drove straight up the inside and overtook him.
Oh, I did see that as well, yeah.
I thought, he was trying, bless him.
Yeah.
So
Have we already said it as well that Turkington got past Proctor around the outside of Jim Clark-S's, and I thought...
No, that was the next bit, but
Sorry.
my writing for that was he goes balls out to pass.
I put superb move. Slightly different approach to the appraisal there.
Yeah.
So I found the tweets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about tyres on the apex or exits of fast corners.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be there. Tim Hardy's saying they shouldn't be there. And
Porsche
LDR
just tripped over
Performance...
them, didn't
Yeah, they did. So LDR Performance Tuning, who I think was in the Minis.
they? Right.
One of the weighted floppy marker bollard things went through one of their cars' windscreens, and there's an onboard camera footage of it.
Right. Was that from Croft, though, or just another time?
I think that was from Croft, but then Tim Harvey tweeted that at Croft they used plastic guttering cut to size because they ran out of floppy markers.
Right.
But the video on board is quite scary. 6 gear flat through like the left right hander that's really fast at the back of the circuit.
Jim Clark, yeah.
Yeah, and the marker just the bar just goes straight through the windscreen. So it goes through the centre rather than the side.
You don't want that.
No, so
No.
I mean,
I agree with the rants. At least,
no, I do as well.
Dan Camish jumped in some of those tweets somewhere, didn't he, as well? And he said that actually the tyres and bollards and markers and stuff actually changed from Friday practice to Saturday.
Oh, really?
So when they went out, they were like, well, hang on a minute, what's this?
Yeah, I wasn't there.
So that's also not so good as well, like if they're inconsistent throughout the weekend. We've had it with Croft, at Jim Clark S's, they put polystyrene there in the past that's been a right mess.
Yeah, it just gets knocked to one side, then they put a safety car out to put it back in place so it can get knocked aside.
Yeah. And then they've had tyres there before. Was it when Motorbase ran the Seat Toledo, whatever season that was? One of them hit it, and then the next one, what was he called? Was he Matt Allison? Boom! Smacked straight into it, completely ruined his race, like pulled the suspension off or whatever. So I agree, but at the same time, the reason for the tracks doing it is to stop the corner cutting and police track limits and stuff like this. So there just needs to be another way of doing it.
Paul O'Neill was quite honest in that. He said these things need to be changed. He said, but at the same time, I don't have an answer to how we do it.
Right, there we go.
So,
yeah, you have to have like judge of facts on there to stop the corner cutting. But if the tyre, especially in the S's, if there's no tyre stack there or preventative block of some sort, you just have 2 wheels on the grass every lap.
well, can they not just put the same sensors in that they have on the outside of some corners,
Right.
on the inside?
Yes,
And
they
then
could.
just
Yeah.
give them penalties.
I've seen that before in Surfers Paradise, the street track in Australia. There's a chicane there, and they have sensors. Oh, and Adelaide in that series as well. And if you cut it too much, boom, penalty.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much these are. That might be another consideration.
True, because they're only used at the is it MSV tracks?
Right. Jonathan Palmer ones, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway.
Mm.
Good drive from Moffat to finish second with
Yeah, great drive
75
from
kilograms.
Probably
Great.
the best drive of the day, I think. Regardless of him winning the first race, I think that was a better drive.
Yep. I mean, it helped a bit that at times Moffat went back to his little Tom Boardman defensive ways in this race.
Yeah, but he kind of had to in a way.
Yeah.
Doyle recovered to 12 after race 1. Jack Goff got the last point. Nick Halstead only finished 2 seconds behind Andy Neat. But there was about a 12-second gap in front of him, so they were obviously involved in something.
Having their own little race.
Yeah. Sounds felt.
Chilton with fastest lap.
19th. Yeah, I know. I believe because he went off at the beginning, so he had clear space with fresh tyres when no one else did.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a bad race for everyone in the championship, really, because Sutton managed to get 5th. But yeah, shame for Tuckington. I thought that was unfair, and I thought it happened to him. And race 3.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
Yeah, the reverse grid draw as well. Was there any reason why Alan Gow was doing it?
Yeah, I wondered that as well. He was in studio and just did it.
I wasn't sure if there was, with the tinfoil hat on, if there's a hint of foul play with the rest of it, or if it was just
think about that
a decision.
The organisers decided the grids. Yeah, that's weird.
I wasn't sure if it was more a case of they didn't trust the race leader not to be trying to get the lowest number. But probably not. Just, as I say, tinfoil hat.
Probably not. But yeah, you're right, actually. It's normally the race winner, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But it could be a timing thing as well, because then they have to get them there, get them to do it. Because was it last week, last race? Steve Ryder. I was going to say Steve Wright then. And Steve Ryder was trying to talk to Ash and they couldn't hear each other.
Right,
So
correct.
maybe
Maybe they've just changed it just in case, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was all.
Yeah, they were struggling for time on this broadcast because at the end, after race 3, Steve Ryder said, we'll be back after the support race to talk more about the British touring cars.
Yeah.
And then the support race finished at 6:30 and it just went off there.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so they're just, they're also tight for time. But all ITV4 shows is touring cars and like old crap programs like Minder from the 70s
And Tour de France.
And Tour de France. That's it. Like, sure, you can switch about your schedule for that.
You'd think so, but
I imagine it's probably people getting home.
So they'll probably get more views from Minder than they do British touring cars.
So, race 3. Chaos at turn 1 as Dan Lloyd goes off.
yeah.
Bordley runs wide. Jack Goff gets his front end completely smashed in. Oliphant goes off. I think Jade Edwards is involved.
Yeah, I think Ollie Jackson as well.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what actually caused it, but all of a sudden it just arrived and there's chaos.
Yeah, Lloyd was the one who sort of went off, but I don't know why he went off, as you say. That kind of caused everything behind that, but I don't know what started it.
Hard to see. There was an onboard from Sam Smelt's car, right?
Yes.
Where it goes down the inside. Is it Goff? I feel like there's some contact. I feel like it's a late dive and there's contact, but I'm not saying that's caused it because you can't see what's happened behind at that point. He's the last car ahead of it, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but it's all a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Which it normally happens every race at Croft. So 1 out of 3, not bad.
No, exactly.
Then Jack Mitchell was off.
Oh yes.
And inside the grass at turn 2, but nobody knows why. He's just parked.
I think he's involved in that incident, but just makes it around there with like broken suspension or whatever and parks up.
So, safety car. They pull out Lloyd's car. There was one of the Janetta races, they decided to get a digger on track to pull a car out the gravel at turn 1, just under yellows. And no one was impressed. Paul O'Neill wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed. Twitter wasn't impressed.
No.
Two marshals stand on track with a digger.
Is Twitter ever impressed?
No.
True.
No. Twitter has never been impressed. But yeah, I thought that was pretty poor not to put a safety car out on that.
That doesn't sound good.
No. Nick Halstead then spins off as Tom Oliphant passes him.
Yeah, I wrote it as he's emulating Rick Parfitt.
Rick Parfitt would have got round that corner, but then not brake for the next one.
Well, speaking of not braking, what happened to Jason?
I don't know. I've looked and I can't find the reason
Oh,
why.
yeah.
But he just suddenly appears at a million miles an hour flying off track.
It looks like he just literally ran wide onto the grass and he hit the brakes and there was no slowing down, but you couldn't see because there was other cars blocking the view. But that looks to me like that's what happened, but I don't know.
Right, I went through it slow motion. There's an onboard shot from someone behind.
Yeah.
As they go through Barcroft, I think there's side-by-side contact with Rowbottom that puts Plato on the grass, and then he just flies off. That first camera angle, you're thinking, "Oh my word, this is going to be a massive accident."
It just looks like brake failure, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
But
and it looked like he was going into a breaker's yard.
Yeah. No one's ever seen that part of Croft before.
No.
Thankfully, there was some asphalt there or concrete or whatever.
Yeah, he just got his stop, didn't he, before the barrier?
Then he basically gave in, but I suppose the tyres will be as round as a 50p piece at that point.
He did go back out.
Did he?
He pitted and then went back out and
maybe
ended
put new tyres on.
a couple of laps down, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel like there's contact with Rowbottom. I'm not attributing any blame because it's difficult to get two cars there when they're sort of turning and braking at the same time. But that's what puts Plato wide, I think. And then he's just off flying around.
When they cut to the pit lane to show Plato, this also showed that Jay Edwards was in.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the pits. I think she got out as well, but it was a couple laps down.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was just because of the lap one. I think she might have got caught up in all that.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Well, she did, yeah.
Chris Smiley then has a problem. Again, don't know what, but he just suddenly slowed down, lost a bunch of places.
Yeah. He seemed to get going again after that, so I think it was some kind of error. Or someone hit him, maybe, but yeah.
Rory Butcher made great progress he was up from last to 12, lap 12. And then it all goes a bit messy again as Chilton hits Osborne, who then hits Butcher and breaks Osborne's suspension into the fast apron. It was another dive up inside with 3 cars.
Osborne was in P10 at that point.
I know, I felt so bad for him. It was more fair than the Smiley one because he didn't cut the corner. It was an on-track attempt, but I still feel like Chilton was a bit too far back to try it.
Yeah.
I think before that, isn't there the mess where everybody in a BMW spins?
There was, yeah. Morgan, I think, was edged onto the grass by Hill, I believe.
He was, yeah. Hill misses the apex, right, and then comes straight back across, and Morgan's there. I thought, that's a bit unfortunate. He got
spun round, didn't he?
Yeah.
I know it wasn't quite that, but it looked like Jenny was just like, I'm going to do the same.
So
he got a tap.
He got hit by Rowbottom, and Rowbottom actually got points on his license for that. And so Morgan and Jelly both spun.
Yeah.
It reminded me of 2009. Harry Volkard went off into the potato field. He came back on. He got mud in his tyres. He then span at that corner, and Tom Chilton came around and just hit him straight on the side. Pretty nasty incident. And when those BMWs spun there, I thought, here we go, someone's going to have a side impact here. But luckily, everything was all right in the end.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
No, but just when it was happening live, I thought, here we go, this is going to be a massive pileup.
Yeah. We also saw Sam Smelt and Rory Butcher battling as well.
Yeah.
Which is not something we've seen before. And
there might have even been a bit of defence going on there.
There was, yeah, and Aaron Taylor-Smith tried to get involved. So Smelt was kind of in the middle of both of them. And which I thought was quite good decision from Smelt there, in that he fought for his position, and when he realised it was all going to go tits up, he backed out of it so as he didn't push Butcher off the track.
Yeah.
Because there's clearly one team leader there at the moment, so
yeah. There was a lot of onboard with Smelt, and he seemed to benefit from all these incidents, but then unfortunately fall back as the race went on.
Yeah.
I thought, top 10 is on here.
Yeah, I think it was as high as 13th at one point.
Yeah.
He got involved with Oliphant. Oliphant went up the inside of the hairpin and Smelt turned in really hard and hit his door.
Yeah. I thought it was a bit of a block pass as well by Oliphant. Yeah. A fair one, but a little bit.
But that lost my place to JLA as well. So
yeah.
I think that was what dropped him at the points. In the end. And Shedden just defended from Sutton all race.
Mm-hmm.
Sutton got the fastest lap, but couldn't get past Gordon. So finally, a decent performance from Shedden.
A podium and some TV time at the end of the day.
And he didn't hit anyone.
Well, hey!
I thought Moffat did great to finish 6th as well.
That was good, wasn't it?
Really good weekend, and Hill managed to dump 7th.
Yeah, so he got pole, P1, P2, P6.
Yeah.
The team were the best scoring team at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Sutton got a podium, and Carl Baldley won the Jack Sears Trophy as well, right? In the final race. So they all got a trophy.
Yeah, they finished 15th. Yeah.
Yep.
Felt in the last race. I forgot what I was saying now. Butcher, that's what it was. I mentioned Butcher. He done great to get up to 11th, but where could he have been if he had had a decent qualifying?
Yeah.
Yeah, just really unfortunate to break down. So I think he's P10 in the championship standings.
Yeah.
So now, basically, he's way out of the championship. It's over. But he can save his drive there by making the most of being light and quick in qualifying.
Yeah.
I said this theory before about Shedden, and it did not work at Croft.
Yeah.
But so he has to be on pole at Silverstone. Right. Maybe that track doesn't suit that car the best, but certainly he's got to be right up there now for the rest of the year.
I'm just looking at something. Butcher's had 5 retirements this year.
A lot of them with damage. I mean, that car.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised it's straight.
Only one person has had more retirements than Rory Butcher.
Ooh.
There's a challenge for you.
Is it
Jade Edwards?
No.
Oh.
Jade's had 4.
So I said underneath. Is that wrong as well?
That is.
Well, he didn't start half the races.
Is it Rick Parfit?
No.
It's
Mr. Ollie Jackson.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
With
the
7.
unluckiness. Wow, that's terrible year.
The unluckiest man in the world.
He is unlucky.
I'm surprised he turns up. To be honest.
Yeah, it's such a good year last year as well, right?
Yeah, it just never goes well for him.
Yeah.
Whereas Andy Neate had no pace all season, to be fair, but all weekend. Managed to sneak an 18th place in that last race and has jumped up 5 or 6 places in the standings. Still
right.
Bottom of the full-time drivers, but he's now 29th instead of 33rd.
Interesting. I've got a couple of small observations.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
One, I think we've said this before, but the Infinities look too similar. Now, Baldley's got yellow accents, right?
And
but
different headlights, apparently.
And different headlights. Yeah, exactly. Always got to spot those. But the Moffat and Sutton liveries at the front of the car have both got red accents around the headlights. Why? Why don't change the flash of red? That's not to do with sponsors. That's just a design thing.
Yeah.
That would help everybody out. The other thing that slightly annoyed me was in the commentary, it was like, here's Don Lloyd, the Huddersfield man. He's local to this circuit. And I was like, he lives 90 miles away. Why is everybody who lives in the north local to Croft? It's not how it works.
Welcome to the Scotland problem, where everything is just down the road.
Yeah. I mean, at least, Butcher and Shedden do work at Lockhill, so you can say they're local, right?
Yeah, true.
I don't know where Adam Moffat lives, but But
I don't know what you mean.
It's bloody hell. It's a different county, man.
Yeah. Is that your rant's over?
Yeah, finished.
So, championship, Ash Sutton had a 29-point lead over Jake Hill. Tuckington's in third. Cook and Ingram round at top 5. And it's over after that, isn't it? 37-point gap between Sutton and Ingram in 5th. And then Shedden's another 40 points behind, 45 points behind. So, it's a 5-way fight now for the championship.
He can still win it.
Yeah, there's still time. So, yeah. 5 in the championship fight, I think.
Yeah,
going at Silverstone National this weekend.
Yeah, looking forward to not the track so much, but seeing what the hybrid does. And yeah, really we'll know who the championship contenders are this round.
3 rounds left.
Yeah. Still. Oh, who did we? who did we predict actually?
Oh, for the championship.
Sorry, smacking the table. Well, me and Colin picked Shedden.
Right.
So, who did you pick, Tom?
Was it Ingram?
It was Ingram.
Well, I'm not. I'm looking better than Shedden by one position.
Yep.
But the points gap is still 37 points.
Yeah.
Not insurmountable, but it's not ideal either.
This weekend's vital.
Yeah.
Silverstone,
But Ingram dropping down to 5th in the championship, but still being relatively close, is good for qualifying. He has to out-qualify Sutton if he's got any chance. Yeah. And one thing I need to start doing, which I probably won't have time to do this time, but for all future things, is the championship point table after each round, because that directly relates to qualifying performance, and it's never really mentioned that much. And you can't, once the championship table's updated, it's updated, right? I don't know what the standings were. I can't remember what they were last race weekend, so just need to keep a note of that.
Any more touring cars?
No, I think that's it.
No.
Silverstone, Donington, and then Brands Hatch in a month's time.
Lovely.
Yeah, nearly there already.
Right, it's flying by.
So, Monza Grand Prix was a couple of weeks ago. We're going to wrap up with this, just quickly summarising what happened. And there was only one thing that happened, which was the Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton crash. Who wants to first go? So, Bottas won the sprint race. Both McLarens did great in that. Daniel Ricciardo got a great start. Took the lead to the Grand Prix. Held on.
Superb.
Dodgy pit stops put Verstappen and Hamilton together, and Hamilton's coming out the pits. Verstappen's on the outside, brakes really late, gets almost alongside Hamilton. Hamilton squeezes him, and he decides to keep following his line, bounces off the sausage curbs, and ends up on top of Hamilton. Stewart ruled it's a free place, good penalty for Verstappen, put the majority of the blame on him. What's your guys' thoughts?
Cars are too wide.
That is one thing.
The contact is with the rear wheels. So how's the driver supposed to judge that? You know, they're so much wider at the back that when they have to, obviously they're best drivers in the world and are estimating things, but when they can see the front wheels and the front and their steering wheel, it must be very difficult to judge where the rears are and how wide the Mercedes is and the Red Bull is together. I mean, this was a similar incident with the two Ferraris coming together at Red Bull Ring. Was it Vettel and Leclerc? And their contact actually is first with the rear wing. This is a couple of years ago, and it's the rear wheel even. So that was an element. Yeah. And that's not my main opinion of it, but I just jumped in there with a random thought there. The cars are too wide at the rear. It's difficult to judge.
Well, when I first watched it, I think I said to you guys on Twitter as well, it's like marginally more Hamilton's fault than Verstappen. And I actually think I've changed my mind.
Ooh.
But I still
there
think
are
it's
7 million replay angles to look at, so you've got
Yes.
plenty of... Unlike touring cars, we know what's going on.
But I do think Lewis could have gone a little bit wider, but that's quite difficult to do, to be fair, because you still got to get rid of the corner. But Max has more opportunity to get out of it. And he did go across the sausage curb, which is what pushed him into Lewis. Mm-hmm. And he knows that curb's there. It's not like it's new. But, yeah, I still think it's a racing incident. But
yeah, but that's what you get for not leaving the space.
Yeah.
I think Max should have bailed on that move. Lap 1 of the sprint race, Ricciardo could pull the exact same move on Verstappen. Verstappen squeezes him, so he backs out.
Mm-hmm.
Lap 1 of the main race, at the second chicane, Hamilton's on the outside, gets run out of room, goes over the curbs, backs out of it. There's a point where Verstappen needs to back out because Hamilton's closing the corner, as everyone does there.
Yeah.
And he keeps going. And I forgot about this, but the clip was circulating online afterwards. He did an exact same thing with Felipe Massa, like 4 years ago.
Yeah, I saw that. You shared it.
Yeah. 4 years ago, he did an exact same thing and ended up with a puncture in the broken front wing. So it's like, at some point, you have to yield at some point, especially from the championship fight. And that was the one where I felt he should have yielded.
Yeah.
It's great Formula 1, though. We're all talking about it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with that. Yeah, I think he should have. But I also think it's a bit unfair to penalise him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised he got a penalty.
Yeah. But
my
I don't think
view
it's going
was
to make much difference because they're going to take engine penalties anyway, probably.
Oh yeah, it's all going to be bundled together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some weird thing. So he's just going to start last, is he?
Well, that's if that's what they choose to do, but that's the theory at the moment.
Apparently they're rushing through an engine upgrade as well.
Russian, did you say?
Rushing. My view is that it's a racing incident predominantly, and I think both had a part to play and both end up in the gravel. So that's it. I would have just left it at that. But we seem to have this rule set now where you have to attribute, if you're going to do something, you have to attribute blame. So they've gone with Max, and he's probably the one I would have sided with. I just wouldn't have given the penalty. But the rule set seems to be you have to give some sort of ruling now. You can't just say, oh, that was a racing incident. So the cars are too wide at the rear, and the rule set says you have to give a penalty out or some sort of... You have to judge someone at fault, but sometimes you don't have to. Really. Yeah.
No. What the criticism was, it wasn't... Hamilton got a lenient penalty at Silverstone compared to that. But the reason is that both cars were out of Italy, and the
you can't
gave Verstappen a 10-second penalty if it continued. So it'd have been the same. And yeah, I disagree with Damon Hill and Ralph Schumacher, who said it's totally deliberate.
They said Verstappen's moves was deliberate.
Oh yeah. Damon Hill wasn't even hinting at it. He was basically like, but he's taking him out there.
Yeah. Oh right.
If you look at it as just Verstappen decided to keep going or Bort decided to keep going, I don't think any fault was I'm going on top of him. But there's definitely a point where he can change his mind. But I wouldn't go as far as Damon Allen saying it was a deliberate one. Or Total Wolf even said it was a professional foul.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with.
No.
Although he was pushed into that quote, I think. Because I think they were talking about Damon Hill saying that he thinks he deliberately took him out.
Oh, okay.
Before. So, yeah, I think that was a little bit engineered by the Sky Sports F1 team, that one.
Right.
Shock.
Yes.
And, yeah, just big congrats to McLaren.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, brilliant.
Could have easily been Lando winning that race if he had got the start at the sprint, but Ricciardo did a brilliant job. Mm-hmm. Full credit to him, full credit to Lando to get P2 as well.
Chapeau for Ricciardo for pulling off the amazing start and then also holding Verstappen.
Yeah.
It's not like, he was third and then everyone crashed out.
Yeah.
He was in the lead all the time.
Quite possibly would have won that race regardless.
Yeah.
Plus, a lot of praise Valtteri Bottas. Fastest lap qualifying, won the sprint race and recovered to fourth, but became third in the proper race. So.
Did you disagree there, Nick?
No, I'm just thinking about how much of a... Yeah, I won't say the words I'm thinking, but Coulthard was at the end of the race with Bottas.
What was it?
It's Bottas has got third place. He's on the podium, and
he's
all
just talking
Coulthard
about...
wants to ask you about is Max and Lewis.
Yeah. But he created a great meme.
Yeah.
Where Bottas turns around and then comes back and he's got like a smirk on his face. So...
I just thought that was almost.
I thought it was, yeah. I mean, I prefer that to a Matt Webber question that never ends. But
yes.
It was like, ooh, this is awkward.
But it's like, what's your opinion on it? I don't really have one. And then it happens to come up on the screen behind him and he's going, watch it.
Yeah, I know.
What's your opinion on it? Still haven't got one.
Yeah, nonsense. And also, shout out to Sergio Perez, who was an idiot all weekend.
Yes, the bloody corner cutting and positions back.
Yeah. I don't understand that. At what point did you think that was acceptable?
Yeah. And Red Bull said that they were waiting for confirmation from
Well,
Michael
don't
Massey,
wait for
apparently.
confirmation. Use your own initiative.
No, but that's what they said. Michael Massey then said they were told, but they didn't. So
there we go then. Well, you reap what you sow. I want to give a little shout out to, before we disappear, Giovinazzi. Because he messed up there. He cut across the Leclerc, right, and spun out. Although when you watch the Leclerc on board, you kind of think, you could see that coming. No, could you not?
Yeah, but he didn't. He came across, but at the same time, he could have carried on going straight, but he carried on going left.
Exactly. So it's his fault. But
yeah, it was.
Then, do you know what made me think about? Oh, hang on a minute. Giovinazzi is fighting with the Ferraris.
True.
In an Alfa Romeo. That's mad that he's even up there.
And
going for it, and not just letting him by. So, props.
I was so ready to praise him this week because he had a great qualifying at Zandvoort, then had a puncture.
Unlucky at Zandvoort, yeah.
Yeah, and then he had a great qualifying here, had a great sprint race, and then he bins it on lap 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hope he gets a drive though.
I don't think he will now.
Formula 2
I don't
driver.
either.
Yeah, I think his time's up.
Who's they going to put in though?
Guan Yu Zhou is the thing
Really?
we're thinking of, but I really don't think he's good enough.
No, okay. I hope Giovinazzi keeps it.
But he has 30 million in to throw at them, apparently.
Oh, right. Well, that's a done deal then.
So
Yeah.
we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah.
There was one other thing I wanted to quickly mention, because
Mhm.
I know we haven't much got time, but did you see the incident in qualifying with the people out in the pit lane nearly getting run over?
I did.
Oh,
not
God,
literally,
yeah.
What
Yeah,
happened
that was bad.
The Aston Martins were released into the pit lane when the Mercedes were already kind of there, and in order to avoid them, they then sort of carried on the slow lane, where there's the person who's letting the Alpines out is standing.
Oh, my word.
So it's all going slowly, but it could have been a very nasty thing.
Well, it takes one sort of false move or someone falling over or tripping or something.
Yeah.
One of the teams got a warning for that. I can't remember if it was Aston or Alpine.
I think it was the Alpine mechanic, because I think they said he was standing in the wrong place, but everyone else was kind of there. It's just he happened to be in the way of a car.
Yeah, I think that's what they said, is everyone was doing it, but he was the one that almost got ran over. So
Yeah.
Oh, right.
yeah, that was messy. And then just qualifying in general was a mess.
Yeah, it
As
was.
Oh.
People try to weave through traffic.
But
We
that
they
seems
need
to happen
something
on
about-
these sprint weekends.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do something about qualifying where you can't be on the racing line, or everyone has to go to
Yeah.
the same side of a straight.
No
if
one
you're
gets a
not in hot
penalty for
lap.
this anymore.
No,
It's weird.
Like, they've got to do something, because there was cars actually weaving along the back straight before they got to Parabolica. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just... They kept saying Parabolica on the TV,
Yes,
so I'm
curve
sick of
at
it.
Alboreto.
Alboreto.
Somebody tell Crofty that. So yeah, I enjoyed the Italian Grand Prix.
I did.
Yeah, it was
I had
really
the
good.
joy of watching
Loved
it
it.
on my phone and Sky Sports app. I was sitting
yeah.
waiting for a train, so
Oh,
And
nice.
helmet cam during the race from George Russell as well, from
Oh,
the sprint
yeah.
race at least.
yeah,
It's quite
that was
interesting.
good. Yeah, have we spoken about George going to Mercedes? Just if we haven't, well done.
Yeah, brilliant.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, lots of cars, lots of drivers. Basically, all the drivers have been confirmed till next year now, apart
Yeah.
from Giovinazzi. So
Yeah.
I think that'll do us.
Good old Giovinazzi. Come on, I hope he gets to drive.
Yeah. So, right, I think that'll do it then for this week. Back next week with
With a bumper
Sochi
one.
and
Yeah.
also with Silverstone National, if Sochi happens.
Yes, indeed.
It's underwater now, according to Nick, so that's good.
Nice one. See you there.
Yeah, have a good one.